Want you to make a special run to Autobot City on Earth. But launch! Your days are numbered now, Decepticreeps!
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the X-Transbots Ron and Ratliff, their take on a very G1-esque masterpiece version of Ironhide and Ratchet. This has been sorely needed in the masterpiece realm for years, almost a decade, at least 7 years, if not 8-9 years. And with that, did they deliver? Well, you know what? There's good and bad and plus and minuses. I've talked about these before. I'm not surprised about anything I've seen so far, but we're going to get into taking a look at these. I did get these at showzstore.com and pretty reasonably priced for the most part. Remember, TH viewer code if you want to help the channel out. But let's get into taking a look at these. We're going to look at the good and the bad and all that coming up. Take a look at the box here. It looks pretty good. Just it's like cartoon artwork, not the actual product, but on the back we get more cartoon artwork. Usually there's some sort of an Easter egg that they put on their boxes. And you know what? Oddly, I haven't looked for Easter eggs yet, but I don't see it anywhere. Still, that's packaging. All right, here these guys are right out of the package. And I want to jump right to comparisons, but we're not going to do that. There's a lot good to say here. First of all, picking them up out of the package, there's die cast. You feel it in the thighs, and there's probably way more places. It's got a hefty weight to it, and everything sort of holds together pretty well. I think I might need to be clipping in the torso better to the waist, but they hold together, and they hold their pose. They stand pretty solid. Very solid figures overall. And so I like that about these guys. Very, very solid. That's number one. Painted pretty much head to toe. I mean, if you look at this, it's going to glisten. I actually have to position them where they're not shining in the camera, where there's not a gleam going on in the camera. But they do look great because they're painted so well. And extremely clean front to back. I mean, you look at this, both of them, they're the same figure, more or less, design. And see, that's one like a downside here. This isn't clipping into place really all that well. You can tell where it's supposed to tab in, but that's one downside. But still, they look great. They hold their pose, and very, very clean, painted head to toe. So there's a lot of pluses, and there's definitely a lot of pluses to these versus the Takara, and just in general for a Masterpiece Transformer. Let's go ahead and get into some articulation real quick before we go any further with this, and we can kind of see more of this as we're doing articulation. So head side to side, up about that much, down is just straightforward. Got the shoulder, goes pretty far up like so. And then we have the 360, which is not ratcheted, and it's kind of interesting when his arms down here kind of looks like a little bit of a low shoulder, but I think there's something I can do to get a little higher. Anyway, we've got the bicep swivel, and the way they do the double, it's like a double elbow here, is different because it's actually at the bicep swivel, and that's interesting. I've never really seen that before on another figure. If I did, I forgot it or didn't notice it. Might be something I've seen in a Legends figure, but that's an interesting way to get you more articulation out of the elbow. And then you got the hand, which you have 3 fingers, pointer finger, and then the thumb, separate articulation going on right there. And I did have a little trouble with getting these in hand for some reason on this one. Not so much a problem on the Ironhide, because as I was trying to put the accessory in the hand, I kept going over to the other direction, and it won't just roll back over, so that was an issue for me. Anyway, waist swivel, it's tight, right here. Yep, real tight. And then ab crunch is this joint. So this is a point that could break, that I have to be super careful about, which I will be. And then return to hip flaps, and there's not one on the side there, so it goes out to there and forward to there, and lots of paint that could get rubbed off. And it's kind of pearlescent too. It's not just super bright white, which actually I kind of like. It's a slight pearlescent, and it gives it a little bit premium look to it. Anyway, we do have the thigh swiveling and double jointed knee, which that's interesting too. So that's something else that they kind of did. This folds up so you can get more knee range. and then you can fold it back down to kind of clean that up. And the knee, it's actually a constructed knee as it goes, so that's kind of cool too. And then we get some ankle tilt and a little forward. So there's a little bit there. Pretty much more than I'm going to use on this. So yeah, pretty good looking overall. So for accessories, they do come with this. It's kind of an homage to the original G1, which was a parts former. And it's kind of cool. You can store all the accessories on it. You do have these here. Now these are skis, kind of like we saw with their sea spray, as I think of Neptune. And is it called Neptune? It's been a while since I've messed with that one. But that is okay. Now people are probably going to get upset at me about how I'm going to do these accessories. But he does come, we're going to start with Ratchet here. He comes with this giant gun. And it has a blast effect with it, which I like. And then he's got a smaller gun right here, which fits in his hand. And I was going to put this other smaller gun in his hand, but I'm not going to mess with it. So he's got this one also. And look at that. They're vac metallized. But this is where people are going to be like, oh, man, you're copping out on this. But yeah, I guess I am, because I'm not going to take it all out of this. I collect for me and my storage, and I don't really want to open all this and have it rattling around in my box. So there's some extra faces I'm not going to use. Another head. Another whole head I'm not going to use. And so kind of a backpack launcher thing that's kind of cool. We've got this kind of another attachment that's spraying out some stuff. We've got another head here. We've got another attachment that's going to spray out some stuff. Ratchets. So there's a lot of accessories. Now, if you really like accessories, you can build yourself up to be Starscream. I guess this is Starscream when he takes over his head. And then another face of that. So all this is, in my opinion, unnecessary. Really, if they could have done a few less accessories and knocked 20 bucks off the price, I'd have been way more happy with that. And I think we get all the same stuff with our Ironhide over here, all these different faces for Ironhide. I just don't see the point of needing this many accessories with this. But some people do. Some people are going to do art, photography, and all that kind of stuff, so this is for you. If you care about this stuff, there's extra hands that have some fire on them, then a couple, like a backpack with some flame effects, some shooting, flying effect. But I'm not really into all this stuff. I'm more just wanting to have his guns. Now his guns are vac metal, and they look really good. So that's, I'm going to pull out what I'm going to use, and it just doesn't make sense to me to have those right around the box. But to each their own, ton of accessories, and I kind of think that they'd be cool if I was going to use them. I think, not really accessory, but we need to talk about this. They give you 2 stickers for each one. So this is for Ironhide, and it goes over the unsightly lines in the chest. But in person, I'm not really that put off by the lines. In the pictures, and you're just critiquing it, every little bit of the pictures, then you kind of, yeah, it's very glaring. In person, it doesn't bother me so much. And it's just up to you if you want to. But there's only 2 shots at this. The third shot, you're not gonna, you have to peel it off and it probably won't stick anymore. So it's something that I don't think I need, but it's cool they included it. And it's basically an admission that there is a bit of an issue. They admitted it from day one by giving you this sticker. All right, let's get into the negatives, which we can all assume it's the sides that need to be cleaned up a bit. This section here, it is a bit distracting. I think it would be, I don't think it's outside the realm of reality that somebody could come along and make a 3D printed something that maybe clips into this tab here, and it just covers it up and makes it look cooler. Make them look a little bit thicker up here, but I think that could easily be remedied with a piece to clip on, a parts forming piece. I'd be okay with that. But in person, it's still not as bad as it was in the pictures. This doesn't turn me off as much. It's not the greatest, but it's not the end of the world. And I do kind of like it, kind of looking cartoony. This here, if it was all smooth and looked more like the show, I would like it more. But it's still not too bad. And then from a lot of the angles that I've been looking at these, it hasn't really distracted me too much. But to say that it's okay, I don't think that that's okay. I think they should have done something a little bit better on the sides there. But from the angles that I'm looking at these, it's not as bad as when I was looking at the pictures. Then again, of course, you do have that. It's like once you get it in hand, it's a little more exciting and fun. Maybe you forgive some of the drawbacks because you have it in hand and you're happy about it. But I still don't feel like it was nearly as bad as I was thinking. Now, in 2027, when Fans Toys finally gets around to theirs, will it look better? Will it clean up a little better than this? Possibly. It's very possible that theirs does clean up better. But I'm alive, my heart's beating right now here in 2024, and I'm really enjoying the fact that, well, let's do the comparison and I'll show you why I'm enjoying these. All right, now in a comparison with Takara, and I have been very, very vocal about the fact that I do not like the Takara, the aesthetic of Takara, how it looks. And with X-Transbots in hand, I feel like I think it's a massive upgrade. Just a massive upgrade. Is X-Transbots perfect? Not perfect, but way better than what we saw before. I mean, just looking at the top of right here, it's cleaned up right here. This is what looks to be kind of like a Kibley clip mess of stuff going on. It feels like this guy doesn't fit the proportions very well at all for the original Takara. The waist piece just looks odd, way too big, and the fact that, the Shadow Fisher kit fixes that, but I shouldn't have to put a Shadow Fisher kit on it. Should I have to buy a 3D part to plug this up if one day someone makes one? No, I shouldn't have to, but I would. And I would because I feel like I'm investing in something I like a lot more. I didn't want to put any more money in these. Once I got them, I thought, man, I don't want to put any more money into the Takara ones. And by the way, Takara, about 85-90% of their stuff is good. It's great. These are in the bottom tier of Takara products. And let's just look at them from the side. Let's get up in here and get a good look at the sides of them. And as unclean as these are, these still really aren't any better. I mean, this has this couple pieces of kibble to it. And now that I'm looking at it, these guys have a butterfly that I didn't even notice before. And so that's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, still just so much cleaner. Look, the waist piece, the legs overall. And I think that they did a much better job. Just the way it looks, aesthetic-wise. Painted head to toe. I think these have some paint on them too. So, I mean, Takara did kind of start that trend. But, yeah, X-Transbot still wins. And how does he scale with Prime? He's a little taller than the Takara ones scaling with Prime. I think that it's a decent scaling. I mean, Ironhide isn't as tall as Prime, but he's up there. He's a bigger guy, actually. I still think the Carbots need to be bigger too, but I think these are a good size. And for comparison, you can see these are just a little shorter. I mean, it's not drastically shorter than X-Transbots, but Takara's are a bit shorter. Yeah, there it goes. Now for the transformation, it is a bit involved of a transformation, but we're gonna just do one. We're not going to do all or both. All right, let's go ahead and get the stuff out of his hands here, and we're gonna fold the thumb in a bit, and then because we're gonna go with it rocket like that, we're gonna open this panel up, fold it this direction. Now inside here, there's a screw, and it kind of goes up that way. So when you fold this in, you want to have the thinner side of the fingers towards the inside like that, so it'll fit better. Same thing on the other side. And boom. And let's adjust the camera so it makes it a little bit easier to work with here. All right, next we're going to put these up here and push them in. I did see some paint fly off there. That's not a good thing. Push these arms to the back. We have that going on. We need to open these tabs here, which if you're messing with the side piece here, that's going to help get this untabbed without chipping any paint. And then there's a tab that goes in through here. We can see it right there. So kind of if you push on that tab while you're opening this, this will open a lot easier. Same thing on the other side. If you push on this tab as you're opening it, of course you have to get this undone first. Push on that tab as you're opening it. Then that's going to make that part a whole lot easier. Then you're going to open it up. You're going to see it's already starting to form the top a bit in a way. That's actually the inside of the top because you're going to do a whole lot of folding. It's just a lot of folding. So let's get these wheels out. Right now the goal is to get as much stuff out of the way so we can do some good stuff here. We need to twist this around like so. And then we're going to twist this upper part around, which is a little bit more challenging because of all the kibble and stuff that's in the way. But you can actually use the fact that this moves to get that out of the way. And boom. Now we actually physically have a top. Top, middle, and a bottom. We have a top, middle, and a bottom here. So there we go. We're kind of starting to get this stuff put together in a way. And at this point, we could do a couple of things just to set up for the putting together. We need to fold these around to the inside. And I'm not sure which direction. Maybe we go the opposite direction is probably easier. And that's going to tab in. And let's get that where it's on the screen a little bit better. If you fold this, because you see this forms the part of the bumper. But you can lift this up. This will fold around, which I can't figure out which way I think is easier. Maybe it's this way. You got to clear a bunch of stuff at once. Now we're forming the front bumper piece. And then we're going to come around, we're going to form the rest of the bumper here in a little while. But that's kind of getting us so far really close to where we need to be. And I'm not sure if this is the best time to flip any more stuff around. But we're going to keep it with this. Move around here to the legs. And with the legs, there's a whole lot going on. Let's start with this collapsing mechanism. So with this collapsing mechanism, it's kind of cool. You just you got to wiggle it just a little bit to get the collapsing mechanism to work. It is just super tight, but you're basically pushing it down forward, and then you'll know you got it right when the back piece collapses on itself, but this is a bit of a challenge. This is the magic moment where when you close it, it closes itself more or less. You do the same thing on the other side, which it's much tighter on Ratchet for some reason. And there it almost goes. I'm, of course, afraid of scratching the paint. Interesting way they did it. Maybe it's too tight because of the paint. Then we come down here with the feet, and we've got a lot going on with the feet. We're going to open it up. This flips around, and then this folds in. And then this is actually going to ultimately just fold around the foot, but we'll kind of leave that alone for now. Then we need to get in here and not scratch it, but yet open it. Let's start with opening this piece out, and then we're going to have some more movement in this part, which might free up and break up. I don't want to say break, but free up this other piece to open. Now once that opens, then making sure you got the clearance, you can roll this around. You've got that clearance right there. Then that can close back up. And yeah, we've got all of that working. Same thing on the other side, and try to make it look pretty decent. In that respect, we are going to open up the side piece, flip this tab open. Make sure that this is, because it's on like a double hinge, that this is all the way forward, and that this flips out like so. And flip this in. Now push in on the hips a bit. All right. And then we're going to form the front. And I form the front. You're not forming the head yet. Well, the head hides away, which is actually interesting engineering the way they did that. All right, we're going to tab this in like so. And then this should work if we can align it just right. To tab in like so on both sides. So there's a slot tab. So it's like double reverse tabbed. So you got to get both double reverse tabs in place. And now you got the caboose done. This just folds over. That tab's in tight. Tight, tight, tight. All right. Now we're going to get into finishing this up. We do have to flip the entire thing, as you can see, all the way around, which is crazy. Now, for this, we want all this up out of the way. And, right? Or do we get this out of the way? How does this flip? For this next magic trick, you want the wheel assembly and this front. So this front bumper is going to have to collide with the other side of that. So what we need to do is on this little bitty joint right here, we're going to fold this around like so. And then you're going to be kind of working with this. There we go. And it's in place now to start working on the rest of this stuff. So with this in place, we can go ahead and start working on this position just right. Now right here, we're going to be moving this around to get this up and atoms and into there. And this is a challenging part to get all of this moved to where this is going to be in place, which it's on that ball joint. Probably would be easier to just... Okay, mine just keeps falling off. Anyway, we're positioning this into place. That's the ball joint that keeps falling off. And then this kind of rolls up into place. And then it folds over. And it's going to fold and tab into the bumper piece. So, like in theory and design, and like when they were designing it on a computer screen, it seems like, oh, that makes sense. But execution, it's a challenge to just get this part into place. And it's in place. You gotta do the same thing on the other side without making it fall off. So we are going to get this moved up into position and around, and this comes up. And then this has to roll around and go into the Roxbury. Right here. There it goes. There it goes. So this side might be easier than the last side. And then we start... Yeah, I got it into position there. That's pretty good. One more thing while we're here. We can lift this up, which just tabs into both of the sides. Make some clearance for the wheels. Once you lift that up, this will cave in, and then you have clearance for the wheels. All right, there's a lot to this transformation. I have forewarned everyone. A lot of work for 5 minutes of screen time on it. Now we're gonna put it all together. Let's fold these panels down, and there's just so much to it. Okay, inside here you can see there's a gap. So before you fold the panels down, you need to fold this out. Gap filler needs to come out, and then you have these panels on the inside here. All this needs to kind of line up into it. Now you're going to tab it into the front. You're going to tab it into the windshield. All this is going to happen all at the same time. And sadly, I kind of feel like it's all going to come undone too as we go. So we're just trying to get things aligned right now because we're going to do some more stuff. But next, I kind of want to show this. This is on sliders, so this needs to go in. It was giving me a little trouble, so I was just warming it up, to slide in and out a little bit better. And there that goes, making sure everything is still lined up. We get into this upper portion, which seems on the surface to be pretty easy. So these are going to flip around, but you have to get this to clear it first. So this is going to come down, then this is going to slide up. Not sure I'm getting that on the camera as well as I would like, but as this comes down, this comes up, and it will just form into that section, and then the rest of this has to clear. And let's pull this out. That'll help it clear. Same thing on the other side. So we're going to fold this out. We're going to fold this part down, and then we're going to fold this rear piece out as we sort of get the clearance for this. There we go. And then it comes down. Now we're going to be in some tab-tasticness. Another panel comes down here on the inside, and then we start the tab-tasticness of this piece. Get that into the side, and this is going to come down, but we got to tab-tastic the other side real good. Come on, tab-tasticness. Coming on down. And then start with the tabbing. Now it is a challenge when you have a tab on the side here and there. They do all that so it holds together well once it's done, but the doing of it is not fun. It's not fun until you're done. And then more tabs. Tabbing this into here, which again is easier off screen than on screen. So when you go around and do the final cleanup, it's gonna be a little easier, I think. Me hopes. Like right here, I didn't open that gap filler. I didn't pull that gap filler out, so that causes an issue. It's not gonna break it or anything, but it just causes an issue. Trying to go, and it's easier, again, this I'm gonna have to de-transform it a bit to get that out, but one good thing though, I am kind of happy that nothing really sort of breaks or broke yet on me. I say that and then I'll break something, but the worst part is this front end, and I'm back to having to clean it up again. But this front end is the worst part. I'll go back and clean all this up, just tab it in, because as I tab one thing in, something else comes out, but we're pretty much there. As I just go around here and just clean it all up really good and get all the tabs tabbed in. And it seems like the more tabs you tab in, the tighter it gets, the better it's tabbed, but we'll be back. Here it is in alt mode, and I struggled with this rear tab here, and it turns out that if you were to like split this, then this rear tab can go in a lot easier. So that's after messing around with it, I was like, well, I got it on the Ron, why didn't I get it on the Ratliff? And then once I started messing with it, I realized that makes it a lot easier. So anyway, here we go with these guys in their alt modes, and they do look pretty good overall. I have to admit, they go in super cartoon. They roll, so there's that. If you're not getting a good roll, you can adjust your wheels. There is adjustment to most of these wheels so that you can get the roll going on with it. And that is pretty much the transformation in a nutshell. Not much different between the two from one to the other, although I do feel like I got more paint flaking on this one, and the ball joint popped out on the bumper, but nothing broke. And so with that, I'm going to call it a successful transformation. There's a lot of shell forming going on with these, but they do look good. I mean, to get to this result, then I'm okay with it. Although I'm only going to be in it for like 5 minutes, but yeah, it looks okay. I'm not going to mess around with the Takara ones. I probably should put them in alt mode and keep them in alt mode, but that really wasn't my plan. Maybe it will be the plan. Who knows? It's funny, when you take a hard look at it, you realize that just needs to slide up. It's just a slight little slide up on that to get the ambulance. Yeah, I wonder how this would compare to X-Transbots ambulance that's going to be in their defensor. That'd be kind of interesting too. Anyhow, well, look, a piece of my tires coming off. Or is that fuzz? Okay, so they look good. They look great. Not much really you could do with them. You've got this other giant piece, the shell former, to store their weapons and accessories. And with that, I don't think they engineered any accessories storage to it, but still really good, cartoon looking with a real world flair. I don't have any real problem with the alt mode. I mean, they are panel liney because there's so many panels to it, but they look good. Well, comparison, this is the alt mode comparison, and since they're pretty good size, so let's go ahead and just do one at a time. Takara right here. So the new X-Transbots and the Takara. Takara had the clear windows over here, and the problem with that is you see some just junk in the front and in the trunk. Junk in the trunk. And so the painted looks a little more uniform and more correct. This is so lightweight. When it's condensed down, all the die cast and the weight feels so much heavier on the X-Transbots. So I guess I will keep my Takara in the alt mode. The alt modes look pretty good. Either one looks fine. This is more real world. This is more cartoon. But at the end of the day, I'm wondering. I don't have side view mirrors on the Takara, but we have it on the X-Transbots. So quite interesting there. We'll give it to Takara. The transformation was like about a quarter of the involvement and the number of moving parts as what we had with the X-Transbots. But once you get there, I kind of think X-Transbots in the alt mode win still, because I like Toon, and this didn't used to bother me so much, but it kind of bothers me now when I think this just looks better. Pretty much the same with the Ironhide. I say for Takara, because just the way things look, the darker pieces and the darker color of the windshield, I don't know why it's darker or not the same blue, but anyhow, it looks like it's less of an eyesore for the kibble inside. But yeah, there it is in comparison to Takara. Comparing to the MP-44, I'm not really done with Takara though. I gotta show, Takara does have their weapon storage. I only had one in there, but here we go. I probably will look better if I put this one back here. You can see size comparison. I think that works size-wise. It fits okay with pretty much all these Masterpiece Primes. The MP-44, yes, the alt mode is pretty kibbly in that one. Magic Square's a little cleaner. And compared to Magic Square, kind of get the size and the size comparison. Does that work for you guys? Alright, so what do I think about these guys? I actually think X-Transbots did a pretty good job on them. Obviously, the negative is the side panel area, which it's a bit unsightly. Not that big of a deal. The front windshield being a little bit panely, having the lines in it. They covered it up with a sticker. If you want to cover it with a sticker, you can. But aside from that, I think this is a massive upgrade from Takara. A huge improvement. I'm very happy to see them. We've needed this for a long time. There's other ones like Sideswipe we need as an upgrade that other companies are going to be working on, but I think that it's a solid update. Will I recommend these? Heck yeah. Like, if you don't have one, get this. If you have Takara and you're happy with it, I guess you can stick with it. That's not a problem. But I would definitely recommend these, especially before they sell out everywhere, because X-Transbots will probably put them back out with a different coloration or something strange about them, maybe Diaclone or something, but the standard colors. But will be interesting to see what they recolor to, because obviously they've got the mold, but they are making their money on the mold by making two of pretty much the same figure overall. But I did get these at Shozi's store, and for 150 bucks, I don't think they're a bad value. If they would have made them with less accessories and made them 130, I would have liked them even more. But if you do go over there and you want to get a good deal on it for 150, TH reviewer code. But I do like these. I do recommend these, and these will be my Ratchet and Ironhide at least for the next few years. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Pep Hanger out.